Hi, I'm Todd Orchide, CEO of GTL Real Estate. Today I want to talk about late fees and the circumstances under which you can get them waived. Now just to start off, I want to be upfront about this. The vast majority of the time, we will not waive late fees. There are a few reasons for this. First, we have a legal obligation to our clients, the landlords, to collect the rent and charge late fees if it's not received on time. Our clients expect the late fees when the rent isn't here on time, so we wouldn't be doing right by them if we waived them. Most landlords also don't own their rental houses free and clear. They usually have a mortgage on the house, so they have to pay the bank every month. They're usually using your rent payment to make that mortgage payment. So if you don't pay the rent, they'll be late paying their mortgage, and the bank is going to charge them a late fee. So they need you to pay a late fee to cover that. Second, we have to treat all tenants equally. Making a case-by-case exception just wouldn't be right because one tenant who paid a late fee would be getting a late fee and another wouldn't. Not only is this a problem under fair housing law, but it's also just not ethical or moral in our view. Every tenant needs to be treated the same. That's just the right thing to do. So there needs to be a uniform policy that applies to every tenant exactly the same. With that in mind, we do have a policy with a few exceptions that allow for waivers. Let's go through them one by one. First, if your rent is only late because of something caused by us, then we would obviously waive your late fee in that circumstance. For example, if you had automatic payments set up in your resident portal, but our computer system didn't process it because the system was down, then we would waive your late fee in that case. However, it's important to note that there is a big difference between something being our fault and something just not being your fault. We frequently get tenants asking for late fee waivers because they say something isn't their fault, such as their boss not paying them on time or their bank sending out a check to us late. These kind of circumstances do not qualify for a late fee waiver. It only qualifies if something is our fault at GTL Real Estate. Second, if you just renewed your lease and you have a rent increase or new charges on your new lease that you just accidentally forgot to pay, we'll waive your late fee on that if you get it paid before the 7th. This only applies on the first month of your new lease. Third, if you're a brand new tenant and there's just some honest confusion in how to get your automatic payment set up on the resident portal and the payment that you set up doesn't go through, we'll waive that late fee if you pay everything by the 7th of the month. Fourth, if you're a brand new tenant and you honestly forgot to include the payment of a fee, but you paid the regular rent amount on time, then we'll waive the late fee if you get the balance paid by the 7th of the month. Fifth, if you accidentally underpaid by less than $5, then we'll agree to waive the late fee if you pay it by the 7th of the month. This is a one-time waiver though. After you've made this mistake once and then know what your payment is supposed to be, it shouldn't happen again. So keep in mind that repeated underpayments will not be eligible for late fee waiver. This should just be a rare occurrence. Finally, if heaven forbid you have a death of an immediate family member in the prior 30 days and you've just been overwhelmed and forgot to make payment, we will waive a late fee in that case. Please note that immediate family includes your spouse, child, parents, siblings, and grandparents. Extended family is not included, and we will have to require some sort of documentation, such as a death certificate. While we hate to request this sort of thing from you during your time of grief, it's just something we have to do to keep it a fair process so that those less scrupulous tenants don't try to take advantage of this policy. While most tenants are very honest and would never try such a thing, there's always that small group that tries to ruin it for everyone, so we have to be careful with this sort of policy. So, those are all of the circumstances under which we'll waive late fees. And those are the only circumstances. I'm sorry, but we cannot waive late fees for reasons not covered by this policy. While we understand that certain life events come up such as childbirth, sickness, job loss, among others, we cannot allow you to pay your rent late just because of these things. Our obligation to our clients is to collect that rent on time, so that's what we have to do. As they say, it's not personal, it's just business. I'm sure you can understand. Now, if you do qualify for waiver under one of these circumstances mentioned, how do you request a waiver? First thing you have to do is pay off the entire balance other than your late fee. We can't consider your waiver request if you haven't paid everything else. After that, go to latefee.gtlrealestate.com and fill out the waiver form. After you submit that, a member of our staff will review it and get back to you with an answer, usually within 24 business hours. Hopefully this has cleared up some questions on late fee waivers, but if you still have any questions, please send us an email at support@gtlrealestate.com.